A very good evening to everyone on this fine Monday night. This is simRace South Africa. I am Ryan Hill, and I have with me in the booth a crowd tonight. Hey Nick, hey Sass, how are you guys doing? Good to have you with me.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Sass. Good evening, Ryan, and welcome. It is a new season here at simRace SA for the GT Championship, and we're wet.
Yes, indeed. It is a real mixed bag of weather in the background. We've had a lot of chatter in the chat earlier today. No one knows what to expect other than chaos or a mixed race. We're going to see very shortly what's on store. I'll actually bring up the weather forecast on the screen right now so you can see the context about what we're chatting about. Rain level is at 40%, cloud level 20%. There's a small randomness factor in there, and it's quite cold actually, 20 degrees. And you can see that the 1,000 sessions were simulated, and a good mix. In fact, this is even seemingly different from what I ran earlier, but it's just mixed. Let's call it mixed across the board, and anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're starting at Nurburgring. That'll be our first round one of five.
That's 5 rounds this season again, yeah. So we're running these shorter seasons, but it's every 2 weeks, and we still managed to fit 5 in. And yeah, first up is the Nurburgring GP circus. I've got the track map up on the screen right now. I do have a little Coach Dave hot lap which we can run through in a little bit as well. But yeah, some love it, some hate it. This track, I don't mind it personally. Don't know what your guys' thoughts are on it.
Oh, I've always struggled at Nurburgring, I'll be brutally honest. Particularly that Mercedes complex. It's just never quite gelled well with me. And I don't know. I've struggled, but I completely get why people love it.
I'm definitely a fan of the 24-hour layout. So getting to skip that Mercedes arena is such a joy.
Yeah, especially in a GT car, it always feels super cumbersome.
I still actually need to ride the 24-hour of the Green Hell or Nordschleife or whatever you want to call it version that ACC put out. So I've only done it on AC and a couple other sims. So yeah, I need to get around to doing that. See how they're translating it.
You're in for a treat. It was something I was going to ask you, Ryan. What would qualifying look like on a track like that? Because surely we're not going to sit around waiting like 15 minutes for people to do 2 laps. That might be where some pre-qualifying would be the course of the day.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting. But it is something that I'd like to do, an enduro race, some driver swaps or something. That I think that would be quite cool indeed. Let's get on with the quali. Has started in the background. Championship standings. So I'm just bringing this up on screen. It's really just a reflection of who the 25 drivers are that have qualified for Division 1 tonight. I guess there's no real favorites. It's anyone's game here, but just going on the SGP rankings, I can see drivers right at the top there, including our returning champions, such as Ross Bartle, Michael Rue, Jason Luck, all up in the mix there. Mark van Rensburg was another one that did really well last season. And we have a newcomer name with us as well, Gidrius. So yeah, lots to play for. We also have some returning old hats. Paul Fenter, for example, being one of them. Good to see him back in the field, drawing a few other drivers back. And they managed to qualify in our pre-season qualifiers for Division 1 tonight. And I think I've only seen 2 skips, so hopefully that means we'll get to see at least 23 drivers out there on track tonight.
Absolutely. Remember, of course, this is Division 1, so it's not like there are only 25 guys in the whole of the SRSA that are racing. This is just the top division, the top split, the cream of the crop, so to speak, who we broadcast. So if you're out there and you're thinking about getting involved, remember we are racing as Ryan said, every 2 weeks for GT and every 2 weeks now for the Sim Volvo Cup. So every Monday night there is a race happening here at SRSA. So come on, get involved. Find us on simracesa.co.za, jump over onto our Discord, and there'll always be a friendly face to help you out.
Which that is indeed. Also now on screen, I've got the lap records that have been captured in SGP for the drivers that are on this current grid. 16 of them we've seen out here before. Hannes van Wyk clocked the fastest lap time in his AMR V8 Vantage back in February earlier this year with a 153.7.
Interestingly, he's not in that Aston Martin tonight.
I was just about to mention, I've seen a lot of drivers. The last season we had quite a few Mustangs out there as the firm favorites. I've seen a lot of people jump ship into the McLaren this time out, but a few others dotted around in some other various choices of cars. So I think it's going to be nice to see the different manufacturers out there tonight.
I will say Paul Venter is representing in the Bentley tonight.
Ooh.
One of the one and only Bentley.
The Bentley is historically known for being really good in the rain.
Oh, there he is. Yes, he is. Yeah. Absolutely. No, he's in the Aston Martin, so that's your blind.
Blind, I'm looking at the wrong
you
bad.
got
You got my hopes up there. Oh. Is there anyone in the Bentley at that matter?
No, unfortunately not. Yeah, I was just getting super excited. I should have switched to him to look at the car.
But actually, I mean, that Aston is really, really good in the wet. It's always very, very good. Do watch out for Paul, and of course, Paul's a very, very quick driver in his own right. So it's not all the Aston.
Absolutely. I'm going to quickly hop to the hot lap guides, and we can see what one of the Coach Dave representatives put out. I believe it's in the Merc. So stick around us for 2 minutes, and we'll be back chatting. Alright, we are back live pictures. You can see in the top middle of your screen the clock is reflecting 8 minutes left of quali. We are currently on trackside with James Stroud in his Macca.
We're in greasy conditions as well. The track started on damp, but of course without any rain falling and 25 guys out on track desperately trying to do the best lap they possibly can. This track is of course clearing up quite quickly. I don't think we will get to anything other than green before the end of this qualifying. In fact, I'd be surprised if we progress further than greasy. But certainly, your best lap is going to be your last lap in conditions such as these, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone is going to be going out on dry tires. Certainly, the guys in the Ferrari, Sass, you've got some experience in that Ferrari. Surely, in these conditions, you'd be on dries.
If the track is greasy and we're working towards a green track, I will most likely be on dry tires. Yes.
That's really interesting. I'm actually seeing a lot of Ferraris out there, which makes my heart warm, being a staunch Posey supporter. But,
I mean, so it's basically this season looking like a Ferrari versus McLaren series, which is quite interesting.
It's not representative of what's happening in F1 though, but we can dream.
That's true story. Hey, there's always next year. That's actually, I feel like I say that every year. Just having a look at Armand Div1 currently in provisional P2 here. He had a big slide around one of the corners there. I couldn't really see what complex he was coming out of. But he is currently heading his car around half a second down on his best as well. So even looking to improve now to get to Mike Baru, who's set a provisional pole. What does he need to? I need to cycle my leaderboard times here. I think is instant. There we go. Plus 0.9. Okay, so it's not going to be enough to beat Mike Baru off provisional pole just yet. But
I was just about to say, that's an absolute screamer of a lap by Mike, but clearly the track is just still evolving and everybody's getting to grips with the evolution.
Indeed. In fact, there, Hannes van Wyk, Sean Bingham, there's a few drivers now clocking in some hot laps and pushing Armand further down the track into P5 now.
Mr. Sutton, I believe, is who did that in the Ferrari, the Red Bull liveried Ferrari, and we've got Sean Bingham as well, actually up into second position too. So that's the Ferrari drivers suddenly coming good. Hannes van Wyk in the BMW, him and Endrin Governor, I think, are the only two BMWs out here tonight. But Hannes certainly showing he's got some pace. Oh, Mark van Rensburg, there we go, 56.9. So this track's definitely getting quicker. Mark, of course, was in the Lamborghini last season.
I was just about to say, he's opted to make a switch now this season out of the Lambo, long-time Lambo.
Still sticking with the mid-engine car. Let's just note that.
Still sticking with mid-engine. But remember last year, or last season, I should say, he struggled a little bit with the Lamborghini in terms of consistency. So occasionally a mistake would creep in. He's super, super, super quick and on for wins. But occasionally a little mistake did cost him some crucial positions in the championship. So I wonder if he's switched to that Ferrari just because it's slightly more stable. So I don't know what you think there, again, being the man who's driven that Ferrari a lot.
I haven't driven this Ferrari a lot. I've driven the previous generation, the 488, quite a bit. But from what I remember, the Ferrari to me felt like the most stable of the mid-engine cars. I'm actually quite curious to hear from our fellow Black Sim Sports drivers and how they're feeling about McLaren after tonight's race. But I'm also trying to rack my brain. Is Mark typically a mid-engine car, or do I remember correctly? He was like Aston Martin, BMW fanboy a few seasons ago.
Yeah, I must admit I can't remember all that far back, but certainly just a bit of insight from the Black Owl guys. They went to the McLaren just because they wanted a new challenge. It wasn't like the McLaren is suddenly super overpowered or anything like that. I think it was Ross who sort of led the charge on that one, saying, I'm done with this Mustang. I can't deal with front-engined car anymore. I want to go back to mid-engine and try something I haven't done before, which resulted in the McLaren.
That's very true. I've just seen Mark van Rensburg go up to pole. He was on a flyer there and displaced Hannes van Wyk in this BMW.
This track is getting quick.
It's really green.
It's all going to come down to who manages to start their lap last and not buckle under pressure. I've had that happen to me before. You cross the finish line with 2 seconds to go. You know that you need to make this lap count because this is now when there's the most grip available, and you then bin it in turn one and you just want to kick yourself.
Yeah. Just having a look at some of the new and returning drivers and just admiring some of the liveries. Here's Paul Fenter and his LNR, very distinctive yellow and orange livery they have for that team.
I must say, their liveries have come quite a way. This looks a lot more professional than what I remember for the other liveries.
Yeah, I think it's been refined over the last year or so, and it definitely looks a lot better from what I can remember as well. Kudos to those artists in question.
Don't get me wrong though, I love a good meme livery, but I also like a good crisp, clean looking livery. Like this is one that I'm really liking. It's aesthetically pleasing.
See Hidrius in his gold and black McLaren as well, one of the European new joiners to our fold this season.
So the question here is there any connection between, the Johnny Player special livery and this?
Good question. Actually, I'm not sure if this is a custom livery or an out-of-the-box one.
I can confirm. I'm going to look at our livery tool quickly.
Ah, while you
I'm
do
quite
that.
surprised to see both Bartles quite far down. Oh, there we go. One of them.
Roxanne's just popped up to number 6. She clocked in
Interesting.
a very nice quick lap at a 157.39.
Ross is absolutely nowhere at the moment.
Ross?
I'm guessing he just hasn't have done a fast
I
lap
think he's
yet.
banked a lap, yeah. He's going to have to hurry. He's got a minute and a half left to do it.
He might be saving this.
He's
time.
rounding the final
Get it
corner
in.
now. I can't actually see if he's on an outlap or not. So I think...
This
oh
was a
yeah,
lap.
there we go. That was a lap. And it's bumped up to 6. And displaced quite a few others, including his sister Roxanne.
Okay, still 8/10 off the pace though, so he's going to definitely go for another lap. Certainly on this, it's not like your tires absolutely fall off a cliff after one lap, like we might see in the Volvos. But yeah, with a minute left, he's really going to have to make this count.
Yeah, indeed. I see Ryan Barrington-Smith just signing off in chat to say Paul had to go back to his famous banana yellow livery. But it looks good. It does look good.
Ooh, Ross having a massive
Ooh,
slap there.
Yeah, and into the barrier. That's his qualifying done for sure.
Just going to go on a 20-second replay and see if I can catch that. Yep, looks like I am. So that was just... is that a little bit of oversteer on this section? Let's see. He's going to... There it is. It's almost looked like it snapped on him.
McLarenitis
Yeah.
hitting early in the season. My goodness.
That is the risk with switching to a new car. You're kind of starting from scratch again with setup work, especially in these types of changing conditions. You have to balance everything. Like it's a tough one to get right from the first race onwards.
The clock has officially hit 0. Mike LaRue has banked it. He's sitting in the pits. Hannes van Wyk is still out there, looking to perhaps stretch and extend his lead just to make it a little bit more safe. I think who else can challenge him right now? Hardest Boyser, he is sort of on his delta. I don't think he's going to improve. I'm just glancing up and down the scoreboard. I'm not really seeing the other deltas that are going to push in significant position switches here either, I don't think.
I mean, Hardest literally only needs to improve by a 10th and he will take pole. Mike LaRue is 3,000ths of a second behind Hannes. That is ridiculous.
This is close.
Let's see if Hardest can make it even closer.
I can tell you he's 0.14 up on his best right now. So if he manages to bank this... Oh, 0.2. He's doing well. He's into the final chicane. Can he hold it through the final corner? He's lost a little bit of time. Will he get a good drive?
What about the exit?
Oh, that's not a best
Didn't look
exit.
good. Oh no, it's dropping down, lads. It's not gonna be...
Not
I think
enough.
he knows it. He's immediately just blowing even before the line.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And Hannes is
looking
also
so good.
extending his lead at the moment. He's about 1.2 tenths up on his delta. Does look like he's going slightly slower though. Maybe that's a little bit of extra wing on the car that he took out for this lap.
Endron Governor popping up into 4th position on the absolute
It's the
death. Second last car across the line for qualifying, and it really paid off for him.
Alright, so we have our leaderboard then. Hannes van Wyk, Mike LaRue rounding out that front row, Hardest Boyce and Endron Governor on second row. I'm going to quickly hop to a little promotional series for the Volvo that we're doing. We'll be back with you in about 5 minutes time. Don't go anywhere.
inside. Cleller won't yield, Plato won't yield. Radicic says if you want to squabble, I'll just pass the pair of you.
Plato dives through on the inside, moves ahead. Jason Plato up into third position. And behind Reed, it's Watts. Watts going through to fourth position. Reed's running wide. Tim Harvey's up behind them. He's going to go through. He's done it. Will Hoy is there too. Goodness me. Tarquini spins. They're all going off. Look at that. And off. It's Tarquini. Oh, look at that. Look out. That is a colossal accident. They're very close. In fact, they touch. Bang. And that is Neil. And that is a very big one indeed.
Mansell, contact with Leslie. Mansell, Cleland, Leslie, contact. Up through the cup of Copper's corner. Take that. Mansell runs around the inside. Can this boy drive? Out of my way, Cleland, I'm up the inside of you. He's past Leslie. He's up into third position. This is amazing.
What a race! Titanic scrap for places. Wheeler's going to go through on the inside, right up behind, and out spins Rydell.
This is a motor racing. It's microsurgery. Could it get any closer than that?
Helen doesn't give way over the tyres. And Helen is going through up into sixth position. Look at him, he's all over the Honda. There's the checkered flag.
Alright, we are back live. You can see in the background here, drivers are on the formation lap, still in single file. They're about to head onto that final little backstretch before the chicane. But yeah, just reminiscing over some of the, that's the historic BTCC Championship footage you saw in the background there. The likes of the Mondeo, the BMW, the Nissan Primera, and of course the Volvo S40, which we are going to be starting the season with just next Monday.
Yeah, can't wait. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. Some really thrilling driving I'm expecting there. Some lacquer tracks as well. Road America, Road Atlanta. But right now we are GT3, we are Nurburgring, we are new season, and we are about to go racing.
Lining up double file here now, rounding the final corner. I'll be watching their position, staying under 70 k's an hour. Hopefully no one's going to get any sort of penalty.
Well, we're about to find out. Here we go. Green light. Off we go. Racing.
Looks like Hannes van Beek and Mike Ruud have both got a good start. Is that Martis Boyce trying to
Martis
come
Boyce
around?
is in third. Endrin Governor looks like he's gone up the inside. Whoa, lots of people. Oh, there's a big concertina effect, but it looks like everybody's got through successfully. Even at the back, a little bit of pushing and shoving.
Just a little bit, but it looks like everybody managed to get through there.
Ooh, who's up
Pin
the
one and
inside
two.
there with the BMW going around? They're trying to go around the outside. That's Endrin
Yeah,
Governor, does it?
Endrin.
The red
His
and
place.
white. Yeah, doing well with the Martin Rensburg, and he's getting a lot of pressure from Paul Finn to the yellow banana behind.
Oh, Paul just giving a little bit of a nudge there from behind. Letting him
Oh
go.
no, that's contact. That's contact, and both drivers off into the barrier. That's really unfortunate, and some more contact behind them as well. Looks like one of the Bartles involved there, but all are running. That's really unfortunate though for those guys caught up in that incident. see the timing tower going absolutely ballistic as it tries to sort itself out at the moment, but it does look like we have Hannes van Wyk running away with it at the moment. A nice little gap of just over half a second to Mike Leroux. Mike Leroux then followed by Hardus Boyser very, very closely. Those two Ferraris running extremely closely right now, but that front three pack, must be said, is pulling away, and actually looks like Mike Leroux through the more twisty section has caught up a little bit to Hannes van Wyk on this opening lap. There you go, 0.3 of a second knocked off already. Going through the last chicane.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with that chicane, so easy to get yourself unsettled. Paul Fenter a little bit no man's land at this early stage of the race after that scrap. That scrappy start.
Don't worry about that. I see Ross Bartle's going to be closing in on him very soon. He made his way past Mark Sutton through the fast SEs there.
Talking about Mark Sutton, he's having a little look up the inside here of Armand de Bod.
For a moment there, I thought he was a little out of control going
That's
into
Sean
turn
Bingham
one.
sticking his nose up the inside as well. There's two Ferraris side by side.
Brave move there, brave move again, just putting his car where there's likely to be contact. Both of these drivers driving beautifully though, and not letting that happen.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Sutton keeps his place though. Bingham still on his tail. It does look like Govender, and I can't remember who else was involved in that, did get away. Govender currently in 17th, just battling away with Martin from Rensburg.
Yeah.
Mark seems to have taken a lot longer to get going. He's down in 23rd. But I think he's gained a couple of positions now.
I am looking at his onboard, and his steering wheel does look like it's straight. So, ooh, there's a little bit of
Someone turned around. Oh, that's a big accident at the back.
There's been some lack of holding brakes or an unsafe rejoin.
I think they were just crossways across the whole track with nowhere to go, and somebody coming around a tight hairpin like that probably didn't see them properly. Tell you what though, we've got some good dices all over the place. I'm just looking at the back of the field at the moment. Endrin Governor is sort of leading a little bit of a train behind him.
Yeah, Donovan Marks in the green and gold. Martin Rensburg is also just behind them, and we know obviously they're quick guys that are going to be on a recovery drive now.
that side panel of Endrin nicely scratched up, so he's likely going to be down some top end there. Dives up the inside of Martin Groenewald into turn one.
Get some good traction on the way out. But Martin using that narrower line, that shorter line, keeps himself ahead. Oh, Martin just opening the door a little bit there, tempting Endrin.
Yeah.
And that
Endrin thinking better of it though. That was
Yeah,
the
luckily.
Here comes Martin
vortex of
Rensburg.
danger, and Martin
He's
Rensburg.
got the big drive coming out of that corner.
both drivers look just having a little look. You just worry when that happens because you just if somebody throws a move, there's likely to be contact.
Mark was almost offline there. You saw the puffs of dust being thrown up from being too much or dipping a wheel into the grass. Always makes me nervous. The risk of a spin. You apply some throttle when that's happening. It's quite risky.
A little bit ahead. Armand de Bod is 10, he's about a 10th behind Roxanne Bartle there. Looking all over the place just to try and make a gap for himself. Not quite able to capitalize on anything just yet.
You said Ross was going to be all over the back of Paul before you know it, and actually he's falling behind.
Ross was looking like he was driving a little in anger there at the start to try and make up some positions.
Yeah, not the best qualifying, unfortunately.
Having a look at P11 here, Jason Luck has returned in the Porsche. He was favouring that car last season. We also saw a lot of sideways action, and he's all over the back of one of the new guys, Gidrius, who's just behind Moritz Krogkamp.
Yeah, nice to see somebody still repping the Porsche. Jason's always heavily favoured that car. You can see how quick he is through the through this
so
Mercedes
good through the
complex.
corners, yeah.
It's gonna boil down to him creating a bit of a gap for himself. Closing up in the middle of the corner like that isn't always ideal. I'm gonna try and capitalize. Oh, up ahead! No, there was contact.
And he slipped through, threading the needle.
Wow. That would be interesting to see an onboard replay of, because I bet there was very little gap.
I'm gonna attempt a. There we go. On board with Jason Luck here. This is a 30-second replay, so we're looking at the incident about to form ahead of us. I think it's just following the right-hander now. Oh yeah, there was some contact there. Oh, that was close.
You wouldn't think these guys had only had a week or so's break. There's been quite a lot of contact in this race so far. I get that Nurburgring is quite tight, so if you're going to make a move, sometimes you have to lunge it a little bit. But it's been quite scrappy so far to start with. Martin Groenewald just fending off the machinations of Mark van Rensburg, who's desperate to get back up towards the sharp end of the field, so much faster than Martin, looking for a way through just in every corner, but nothing doing right now. Martin keeping his head, and Mark not making any rash moves right now. But it'll be interesting to see if Martin can hold Mark for much longer.
This does mean that Mark managed to get by Indra.
He's side by side.
Yes. Possibly the spinning incident may have
that might have been where the gap. Oh, Mark doing that cutback beautifully.
That was effectively clean. He's placed his car up the inside now, but Mark
now
still going to have the inside line, on this next complex.
Takes a very bad line though.
Yeah.
He's going
And in the
the exit
background,
that he would want.
that looks like Renier having a moment.
It's not Indran. It's Indran.
So they must
Oh,
be-
going up the inside and the contact, he just ran slightly wide. Now Martin's going to spin out. Oh, that's unfortunate once again. Slightly unnecessary contact we're seeing from him tonight.
Drivers are finding their feet, as Martin has to take rejoin. And he's going to drop all the way back down to 22, I think.
That's really unfortunate, because it was the tiniest amount of contact, and it just pushed him out onto the grass. Oh, as I say that, Endron Governor puts his wheel on the grass and gets very sideways himself, manages to hold it, and is now side by side with Marks. Governor versus Marks. These guys going absolutely hammer and tongs. You wouldn't think it's an hour and a quarter race. You'd have thought it was a 20-minute race the way these guys are throwing moves, but going side by side. Ooh, that's brave, and that McLaren riding the curb like that, but I think Endron's going to keep that position.
Flipped in front. Chicane now.
Mark van Rensburg all over the back of Timothy Gomez at the moment. Timothy running a bit of a defensive line into turn 1. Mark's gonna go for the outbraking maneuver / cutback. Ooh, he had to back out of that a little bit, but he's side by side into turn 2 now.
Oh!
Oh, can he hold it?
It's all rubbing.
Oh, now Mark's gonna be in a very bad position with the exit.
Yeah,
of
he had
this
to cut
corner.
that chicane a little bit, but that's not optimal.
Allowing Endron to close in.
And get that place back. He's going to have it done here. Oh, great midfield battles. Can I just say the midfield is really showing us tonight some door handle and mirror racing. So now Endron is all over the back of, that's Gomez, I think.
Yeah, Timothy
That's
Gomez.
Gomez's Ferrari, yeah.
Classic, almost the sort of a Le Mans 24-hour tribute livery that. Oh, Andron's gone around. He's clipped the curb, I think, and unsettled the car. I don't think there was a contact that caused that.
Everybody else seemed to manage to avoid all, but just rejoin safely there. Yeah, everyone putting out the way.
There on this. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, he clipped the curb.
Flip the curb.
Yeah, we saw him a little while ago making a small mistake as well. And just managing to hold it.
Sometimes your greatest adversary is the person looking back at you in the mirror, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The top three definitely still the top three. They have pulled quite a significant gap on Paul Fenter, 6 seconds, but between them is not really a dicing gap. These guys kind of settled in about 1.5 seconds from each other.
So I do see
Ross
Mark,
Bartle though is catching Paul.
He is catching Paul,
And
but
so
Mark is also catching Ross.
Yeah, this could get tasty.
Which is amazing, because this Ferrari has a whole extra 17 kilograms worth of ballast for the balance of performance that's been applied.
Yeah, this could get seriously tasty.
Hopping a little bit down the field here, battle for P10. Mount Debot on the back of Roxanne Bartle. Just rounded the hairpin at the bottom of the track.
Roxanne has made that McLaren very
of course,
wide.
Debot.
Ooh, Ryan, you're
Overcooks
gonna have
it.
to take that one. That's commentator's curse for you.
I'll have to have at least one of the evening. That's looking like a significant bit of damage there. Quite a lifted bonnet. He struggles to wiggle it back onto track and gets out of the way. With a couple of drivers coming through, he looks like he's struggling with that car. Let's see if I can go on
Bartle's now under a lot of pressure coming out the last corner. Sutton got a great exit. Bartle was wiggling all over the place, and you can see just how close Sutton is now to the back of that McLaren. I wonder if Ross is not just has not quite got that setup dialed into his liking at the moment. To the Ferrari, you can see just how much this McLaren is wiggling all over the place. It's not massive, tank slappers, but it's certainly, it looks much more on the edge and unsettled than that Ferrari, which looks planted.
Something I don't quite have insight into is whether there was perhaps maybe a bit more time spent settling the car down in the wet, which I actually, to be fair, should have settled the car down in the dry a lot more and actually made it a lot more safer than this.
Just seen James Stroud get past Renier Hatting for P15. He's a little under pressure. In fact, off track goes Renier Hatting now.
With Moritz-Krokam following.
It's so easy to make a mistake and follow another driver and for their own mistake, that is.
Oh, somebody's gone up ahead. It looks like, I think Paul Fenter ran wide out of that last chicane. I just saw the dust ahead,
yeah,
and you can
very,
see how
very
much
wide.
closer Bartle is now.
Looks like Paul is out there in the only Aston Martin in Div1 tonight.
Let's just call it a Bentley. In my heart, that's what I want.
It's really pulling out of favor, the Bentley. And despite
Does
the
it even
box,
have
the box.
LFM BOP?
It does, the 2018 model.
A lot can happen in 6+ years from a development point of view.
Yeah.
There's a battle for P13 going on between Gidris and Jakub de Beer. It's again one of those Ferrari-McLaren battles. It looks like the McLaren is favouring some of the...
Oh, Paul's gone off. Paul Fenter's gone off, and that has allowed Ross Bartle and Mark Sutton through, and it looks like he's going to have Sean Bingham all over the back of him as well.
That's the
Paul's
second...
struggling now.
That's the second front
I've just
engine
gone
car
and looked at
struggling.
the replay. Yeah, it looks
so-
like he struggled coming out of that corner and had a wiggle on his own, but he managed to recover pretty well, keep it in the right direction.
It was a very similar wiggle to what Endron experienced.
Yes, it was.
Aggressive curve usage there as well. Going into the final corner, in the chicane.
Okay, so Bartle has managed to work himself into 4th now, which is pretty good considering. Looks like he's going to come to lap Endron Governor.
Yeah,
Is
so
that right?
Endron and Mark have both gone into the pits.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm blind. Yes, you're right. Sorry, scrolling down to the 25 raced, 25 guys. And as you say, De Bod is also in
Pits currently.
the pits currently. Yeah, that's very early pits. Remember, these guys do have to make a pit stop, but you can take a pit stop whenever you like. Take tires, don't take tires. You just have to take a minimum of 1 liter of fuel. So we're not asking a lot of the drivers, but they do actually have to stop.
I do think that not a single car on the grid tonight is able to do the entire race on a single tire.
Not even the Ferrari.
As far as I remember, you get like an hour and 7 minutes at most. It's the Bentley that just sips at its little tank there.
Oh, right, okay. I always thought the Ferrari could go quite long.
The Ferrari tonight's also to remember it's been added 17 kilograms of ballast, which will make it a little bit more thirsty than it usually would have been.
Clearly a very strong car at this track.
So looking at the battle here for P11, Timothy Gomez being followed quite closely by Donovan Marks. Yet another McLaren Ferrari battle.
It does look like Mike LaRue is very close to Hunnison Bake now. I don't know how that's happened, but suddenly there must have been a bit of a mistake from Hunnis because now the gap is only half a second. It was approaching 2 seconds at one stage. He's running very wide coming out of the first corner, and we now have 3 wide going through turn 2. De Beer in 13th, trying to make a move or two in his Ferrari. Oh, who do we have? Is that Stroud coming up the inside as well? A little
contact that's been made.
Yeah, everybody trying to get a position. It's kind of worked for him though. It's kind of worked, and these guys are still going to be going through wide. Watch out. Yeah, he is boxing in. Watch out. He's trying to go up the inside. Is it going to work? Slings it through.
Yo.
Takes that narrower line, which from a camber point of view is so much better through that corner. And gets the move done. Amazing after that.
Yeah, I thought he was going to come up worse with that contact.
Yeah, after the contact, I'm surprised.
Somehow managed to come out trumps there.
Yeah, great.
Car control.
Yeah, really, really great car control. Yeah.
Will earn a few extra scuffs on the right-hand side of that McLaren though. And here in the background, it looks like Idris spins out, well not spins out, pulls out of De Beer and gets around. And he's going to have to try and work hard to keep that position though. Almost going out of the track there. It looks like when it's done.
De Beer dipping a wheel into the grass there. That's not going to help.
Yeah. Super brave. Sutton all over the back and Bartle still
really battling hard with Bartle there, and they're
so
coming up on
Leroux.
Endrin Govan. There's Endrin a little bit of a back marker here, but I think Endrin is actually not quicker than these guys at the moment, looking at his lap times.
Probably the new tires, I'm guessing.
Probably full fuel as well.
Yes.
Endrin pitted with about an hour to go, so he might have just thought, let me get my pit out of the way, deal with the damage, and fill up this tank so that I can run to the end.
Yeah, Hannes van Wyk still keeping Mike Leroux honest. His gap is very much staying at a solid 0.3 of a second.
They seem to be trading lap times in terms of who's faster and which lap.
The mid-pack battles, battle for P12 Stroud in the middle of Timothy Gomez and Gidrius.
Timothy doing well to just drive his line. Okay, I'm saying that as he goes a little bit wide. Like it's so easy to get caught up in your rear view mirror and someone's there constantly hounding you. You kind of just need to get your head down and focus on driving the quick lines instead of trying to back into the bottom of this person. Probably also does help that Gidrius and Moritz Grokamp are closing up on James Stroud. So it helps alleviate the pressure a little bit if they can come under prime pressure and keep Stroud. Those running a 50-50 strategy tonight, we should be expecting them to put around the 37 mark, if my math is correct. Might see some
Oh no, he just tried to stick his nose in there, and I think between the two of them with Timothy Stroud, that was a little bit too much, and he's been spun around. Oof, he needs to be careful of the rejoin. I think he's just collided, I can't see who that
Oh
was.
my goodness, that's absolute chaos there.
Unfortunately, that was an unsafe rejoin. He's not doing himself any favors. I think he came off worse than that rejoin as well. It's a bit of a blind corner, but yeah, unfortunate.
Was Richard
Bearer.
pretty collided with.
Seems to have gotten away without too much damage, or if any, like tap, but it was enough to send James Stroud around. He's managed to, feeling like he's caught up quite quickly though again.
Oh, Mark Sutton is all over the back of Ross Barton now. Ross having to take a little bit of a more defensive line here and there.
Yeah, this battle's been going on for quite a number of laps now. I do think that Sutton is quicker than Bartle, but not enough to really make a move. So there's a bit of a cat and mouse going on. That the gap sort of increases and decreases over the course of the lap.
Do you think that Ross is driving into there is a little bit there? He seems to be parking it on the apex here and there, just making sure that he's staying in it.
I'm pretty convinced he doesn't have full confidence in that McLaren just yet. You just see it as he goes through certain sections where the car wiggles all over the place.
Ever so slight wiggle there on acceleration.
And that's generally what's allowing Sutton to close up. That Fry's much more planted on exit.
Just gone on board now, so that we can see the cockpit wheel inputs on our spot inside. Just see the extent of the corrections he's having to make with that wheel. Does seem quite excessive, so yeah, not altogether comfortable with its Macca yet. It's having to correct on the exit of every single corner.
Yeah.
Perhaps a little bit of extra traction control. You don't want to be burning through your tires too quickly and losing time because of that.
That's true. He's going to be really consuming those tires.
I don't think people are going to be skipping tires.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to get a car set up to a point where you can just do a splash and dash for the end of the race. Ross is certainly not driving like he's planning on doing. Quickly switching to an onboard with Hannes at the moment. Just want to see how planted this BMW is, because it looks like this Beamer is doing a lot of good work there for him tonight.
I've done the same. You can just see the wheel inputs certainly seem a lot smoother.
A lot smoother, there's not a lot of corrections being made. If a correction is being made, it's not opposite wrong.
No, yeah. Nothing extreme. It looks very calm in comparison to the McLaren Bartle. Looks like a stable
Wait, what
car.
happened to Mike Leroux?
He's in third at the Mo.
Wasn't he chasing down on Hannes?
Was it Mike or was it
I'm
Hodges?
pretty sure it was Mike that was closing up. So
It was Mike. You're
Yeah.
absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Must have been
Missed
a
a
mistake.
switch,
I'm
yeah.
just capitalizing on Mike's mistake there. Mike's lost a lot
That's
of
a-
time.
it is,
12
he's
seconds
fallen
behind
back.
Rade.
Box.
Yeah, that's likely to be a mistake. I mean, the guys were close together, but it did seem like Hannes had the edge over Mike, so I think that's probably what's happened.
Kedrius going for a move on Renier Hatten for P16. Just showing his nose into the hairpin.
Trio of cars here that he's battling with.
Renier having second thoughts on going for the apex, runs wide and has to concede position. He's also on a bit of a recovery drive. Sorry, that was... Oh. Was that lap traffic? Oh, I was looking at lap traffic. So we're slowly approaching the pit window, I would say. I'm expecting people to be pitting between the 40 and 35 minute mark.
Ooh, 16th Hatting has got
Gidrius.
Gidrius all over the back of him. Ooh, very squirrely under braking there, Gidrius. Look, oh my goodness.
Runs him a little bit wide there, but
Yeah.
no contact was avoided and manages to make the overtake stick.
Yeah. Oof, Hatting getting very squirrely in the background. He's now going to have Martin Groenewald all over the back of him.
Sean Bingham has been holding on to the back of Paul Venter, not quite under his wing. They've been trading laps here and there. Paul Knock will run about a tenth or so between the two of them.
Marks is also all over the back of Bartle. That's McLaren on McLaren action. Just about half a second between the two of them now. Getting even closer through that chicane.
Sorry to interrupt. Hardest Boyce is closing in on Hannes at the moment. Hannes' last lap, Hannes must have made a mistake again. His last lap almost 2 seconds slower than Hardest.
Oh, goodness.
This is dangerous territory. If I remember correctly, in ACC, the undercut can be quite strong. So Hardest, if he has the traffic behind him, if he has the gap behind him to go for the pit stop, this might now be the point where he dives into the pits before Hannes, or if Hannes has been struggling on tires, if Hannes goes to pit now, it's looking like Hannes might be struggling on tires. If Hannes goes to pit, Hannes could now stay out and try to build that gap on top of him if Hannes doesn't have a good outlap.
I would expect that Ferrari to be better on its tires the longer we go through the race without pitting, if you see what I mean. So, like, I would expect that BM to be struggling more than
especially on the front.
Ferrari. Yes, exactly.
So both of them staying out, but I think keep an eye on this battle. Next lap round, we might be seeing some pit stops happening. Jason Luck in the Porsche, he's hunting down Dennis Gilliton P8. They look like they've been trading lap times, but Jason Luck's best lap time quite a bit quicker, 4/10 quicker than Dennis.
I mean, just look how close Hardis is now to the back of Hannes.
This is where I'm holding my breath. Who's gonna flinch first with the pit stop?
It's going to be really interesting to see.
Neither one.
Will one do the opposite of what the other does, or will they try and do exactly the same thing?
So, just something else. I'm quickly looking at both of them, looking like they're... Well, actually, no. So, Hannes looks like he's losing almost a second of lap time now on tires, whereas Hardis is only losing about 5/10 on his lap time. Mike Leroux has been struggling to just keep it consistent. His last lap time was a whole second and a half, well, second and 4/10 off of his best lap time.
Oh, Donovan Marks is off track. Back 20 seconds and see what happened to him. Oh, he was battling Roxanne Bartle. Ooh, and there was some heavy contact made there as well. Just looks like he managed to skip the curbing there and then ran into the side and came off second best.
Must be said that Jason Luck and Dennis Gillett have been having a pretty big battle themselves for the last little while. We saw that Porsche of Jason's doing quite well last season, and once again, Jason finding himself in the thick of things. Porsche, as we know, very quick through the corners.
Hardis into the pits.
Right, so he's first
The right
to
move,
jump.
I think.
Yeah.
Definitely the right move.
Hardis in the pits, Gomez in the pits, Gidrius in the pits, Richard in the pits, and Tyrone in the pits. So I'll stick with Hardis and let you guys know where he feeds out.
Right, so Jason Luck is now making a move up the inside through the chicane. Dennis lets him have it a little bit.
Yeah.
It must be. Then gets very sideways. Oh my goodness, is he going to be able to hold it? He is,
He's on,
and
yeah.
dives straight into the pits. I don't know if that was planned or not,
That's
but,
probably the right call considering the circumstances. Yeah.
but it has released Jason, who goes up into 8th position. It's a good place gained. I wonder when we'll see Jason going into the pits. If I remember correctly, he likes to run long. Paul Fenter looked to be quite close behind Mike Leroux, but now looks like he slipped. No.
So Mike Leroux went into the pits as well.
So there's something
Hardis-
wrong with the tower. Who's ahead of Fenter? Or no, maybe it's a back marker. Sorry, it's a back marker. I think.
Now the gap is to Bartle, basically. Ross Bartle. It's quite a big gap. Oh no, it's not too bad. 2 seconds, I think. Yeah, there you can see on screen. 2 second gap.
Okay. I think Hardis fed out in P6 what
Yeah.
looks to be around about 45 seconds behind Hannes. Scratch that, that's closer to 1 minute and 10 seconds. And Hannes also went into the pit, so now it's going to be down to who managed to run a quicker lap there at the end. Hannes's last lap was about a second slower than Hardis's in lap.
Mike Leroux, as he's pitted has come out right behind Martin Groenewald and René Hatting, who are having a almighty inter-team battle here. So Mike will be a hell of a lot quicker, and it already makes a move on Martin. He's on fresher tires, of course. Martin does not have to yield, and does not yield.
Yeah,
Maintains his line, and there's a attack. Yeah, well within his rights to do that.
And Hardes has overtaken Hannes.
Or has he? Drive through for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh,
Race
no.
control.
Oh, Hannes!
121, Hannes. That is, that's not a good mistake to make.
Oh,
That's a hugely costly one.
Clearly he was under pressure from Hardes there. Apologies, Nick. I rudely interrupted
No,
you.
that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. So Mike Leroux has got past Martin Groenewald
He's
now.
got a
And
big
looks
draft here. And he
Yeah,
pulls out
on
the
René.
draft. On René Hatting is going to take the inside line and easy pass in the end.
Mike Leroux has lost a lot of time. He should be a lot closer to Hardes.
Why do you say that? Just because of where they were out on the tracks, us?
Where they were, so Mike was about 12 seconds behind Hardes Boyce
Yes.
before the pit stops, and he's now closer to 25, 30 seconds behind Hardes.
Right. Okay.
Hannes having to go in for his drive-through penalty. Keep it slow. Yeah, I think he slowed it down early enough. Oh, when you put it all, you leave it all out on the table, and you just make a small mistake like that, it can throw away
Yeah, big time, hey?
a good position. I've had it happen to me more than I would like to admit.
Ooh, Paul sorts of sideways over that curb, and he has a massive tank slapper, and he's caught it, but that's brought him under attack now by Krocamp.
Again, the front engine cars struggling through that.
I think it's a back marker, Moritz Krocamp, so that's a bit of an awkward situation. But he did extremely well to hold on to that. Sliding around the chicane, very aggressive over the curb too there, almost three-wheeling it, and Krocamp is still all over the back of him. He's entitled to, despite being a back marker, he is able to unlap himself if he feels he's quicker. Perhaps it's just showcasing now that Paul Fent is on the end of his stint and needing some new tyres. Sean Bingham now in the pits as well.
Trying to work out who's all over the back of Hannes van Wyk and has just been let through. Oh, it's car number 2. Who's that?
That is Mike
That's
Leroux.
Mike Leroux, car number 2.
Yes, it is.
That's
Why is
teammates.
Mike let
Different
out?
strategies.
So Hannes has had to take that drive through, which would have cooled down his tires a lot.
Yeah, but he deliberately backed off and let him through.
Oh,
It was
interesting.
like a very clear after you, please, sir.
Okay, so they are arriving on the back of Sean Bingham. Meaning this is going to be a battle for P7. As soon as our timing tower updates.
It is indeed. Just quickly looking at Moritz Kirk, I'm sorry, heading down and past Timothy Gomez. A nice clean pass there. It's down into T1 effectively, the move happened.
I mean, I can see why Mike LaRue's been let through. He's absolutely flying. He's all over the back of Sean Bingham now, and he's pulled a significant gap away from Hannes van Wyk.
Okay, you know what? It seems like I might be wrong with my call that people aren't going to single stint their tires.
Yeah, because look how far back they are from everyone else who has pitted. Bingham, Sutton, Boycer.
So Ross Bartle is currently...
He's not pitted though.
He hasn't pitted, and that's what I'm getting at. He might be single stinting his tires.
Splash and dashing.
Here's
LaRue coming down the main straight here on Bingham.
This is for position.
He's forced to go around the outside here. Sean Bingham taking inside line.
Mike going for the cutback.
It might work. Oh, he's just unable to put the part like yeah.
But he repeats it there. That's going to give him the inside line.
Is he going to be able to make the stick though?
Should be able to make it stick. He's going to force Bingham to run a suboptimal line. Bingham's conceded position.
Yeah, he's got nowhere to go. Sorry, I was looking at Roxanne Bartle, car number 7, who's, quite a far way ahead. So Ross, as you said, I mean, sure.
It's under attack here by Sutton. Sutton pulling alongside. And
Roxanne eventually just getting out the way. Ooh. Tries to come back at him, runs a little bit wide, unsighted. I think those tyres on that McLaren are probably screaming at them a little bit. Back optimum now. Again, you see, this is the other thing. I think a lot of these guys have been practicing for a wet race because every simulation showed that this was going to be pouring with rain. We were expecting a lot of water on the track, and there's just nothing.
Okay, so I'm quickly looking at the intervals here. It's looking like Hardis... Ooh, that timing tower doesn't agree with me. It's looking like Hardis is close to a minute behind Ross. Now, if Ross is only going in for a splash and dash towards the end, that could cut down on the pit stop stationary time by as much as 20 seconds. Meaning the normal minute and 5 seconds that you'd lose just pitting... should mean he can come out in the lead, but would he then be able to stay ahead towards the end of the race if Hardis is going to be closing in and driving quite a bit faster? Because at the moment he's almost 2 seconds faster than Ross.
Big battle going on here for P16 between Endron Govender and James Stroud. One point there were a slight overlap with James Stroud on the attack. Endron's managed to pull safely ahead again. Oof. Concertina effect through the final corner there. James Stroud does
look like he has the drive. Oh no, he backed out of that.
I think he's not going to go for it now.
massive dive to the inside there by James Stroud. Little bit of contact made.
Not quite done
He
yet.
runs
very wide.
Oh, very wide. He's going to have to lift off.
Yeah.
He might even have gotten a track cut warning for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Marks and De Beer all over each other. Although it does look like De Beer is now pulling away quite easily.
Say that there's a bit of a wiggle there by De Beer, and that's brought Marks right
Oh,
back
yes.
up again. Aggressive curb usage. Marks trying to find a way past, having a little look right, then left.
Rainier Hatting is now in the pits from 10th position. One of the another one of the Black Owl guys. Looks like the Bartles are the only, and Fento are the only people not to pit. As I said, Ross in the pits.
It's literally just Paul Fenter now that needs to pit. Everyone else is either in the pits or has done it.
No, Roxanne Bartle hasn't pitted either.
Ah, apologies, missed that. My screen for some reason. There it is.
Oh, Roxanne really struggling now, running super wide. I wouldn't be surprised if she's going to come pit this lap.
Okay, so
Be
Huddes
done
makes
with
his way
those
past Ross. Ross not quite managing.
He was, remember, sort of fourth before the pit stop started.
Yeah.
So if he's coming out in a net second, that's going to be a huge gain for him.
Yeah, and it did look like Ross was stationary for quite some time, so it might be that he's trying to run a bit more of an aggressive tire strategy towards the end. Especially if he was only looking at his battle with Paul Fenter, who was doing around about the same lap times as him.
Right.
Roxanne Bartle is pulling to the pits now. Paul stays out.
I was just about to say, he's going around for another lap. Right, so the entire field except Paul has pitted. Hopefully Paul remembers the rules of our GT3 races at some races South Africa.
It'll be clearly emblazoned on his HUD and MFD and everywhere.
You'll be surprised how many
Yeah,
people
it's
can
easy.
miss that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's caught up in a battle, but once you're in the zone, if you're not actively noticing that, it can catch you out.
Well, someone in the chat, get on the ringer with Paul and remind him he needs to pit. Closest battle on track that I can see now then, Martin Groenewold on the back of Timothy Gomez for E13 battle. Actually, Endrin Govender is also all over the back of Rainier Hatting.
So, if I remember correctly, these two were locked into a battle before the pit started occurring. So Endrin's right back where he was before the pit stops. Renier just dipping a wheel into the grass there.
Oh.
Oh, Endrin, that was an ambitious move. It would have been beautiful if you could make it stick. It does mean that the pressure is going to be on in the Renier's seat, so he's going to be sweating bullets if he's watching his rear view mirror now.
Incredible, trying to have a look around the outside of Timothy Gomez. It's not enough of an overlap to make that viable right now. Ooh.
A little hesitant to make the cutback stick there. He also had James Stroud arriving very quickly. So
very
maybe that
rapidly on the back of
unslide.
it.
Oh, James braking very deep. Ooh, Martin.
He's under significant pressure now. Stroud looking very aggressive there. I think there was a slight love tap on the back of Groenewold.
That was a little bit of a tap, yes. But they both keep it straight, keep it going.
Yeah. Back down to Adrian Govender.
Endrin looking like he's around about 1.5 seconds quicker than Renier, but he's struggling to get this overtake done. I wonder if that's the damage that he's got on his car currently. Just not able to stay in control of it in the way that he was hoping.
All side by side, Stroud has to back out of that to Gomez, and was taking another stab at it. He's actually got around. Oh, and he's run extremely wide, and surely that's going to be a track cut +1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not if he's gone super slowly while cutting the track.
I mean, to maintain the position, I assume he would have needed to put foot.
Yeah, that's fair.
He may be at risk of one or two more, and seeing himself with a stop-go or drive-through.
So with only 15 minutes remaining, at the moment, given where Hannes van Wyk is and even Mike Leroux, it looks like, although Hannes did have his stop-go, but it just looks like the play was splash and dash, which is surprising because last season we didn't see that at all.
So that's what I'm not 100% certain about. It felt like Ross was stationary for quite some time. I actually forgot to check what his outlap time was.
But how has he gained so many positions? It's not like his lap times, with all due respect, have been.
No, you're right.
Incredible.
It's very likely it was a splash and dash.
Or not taking tires, or something like that.
But I mean, clearly Paul Venter, he is working hard to try and stay clear. Like, if my math is correct, like I remember a single liter taking only like what, a 0.2 of a second stationary time in the pits. So it effectively becomes a drive-through penalty with a quick park in the pits. Well, yeah, it effectively becomes a drive-through, and the drive-through loses you around about 30 to 35 seconds. So I have a suspicion this is going to be cutting it very, very close as we get to the closing stages of the race. Paul is probably going to be leaving it to the very, very last end, just to make it easy on himself, not to worry too much. He's not that much slower than Hardis at the moment. His last lap only about 7/10 slower, so it's not like Hardis is eating and eating and eating into his lap time. But Hardis is within 30 seconds of him, so it is very possible that he's just going to miss out.
There's a lot of traffic happening here. Oh, and that's Mark's off. And into the barriers, and saw some flashing of the lights as well. I think there was some blue flag frustrations happening in that bubble. And Donovan Marks unfortunately bearing the brunt of that contact.
Oof. Looks like he also went over that curb.
Yeah.
Lost control, and that sent him into slight contact with Martin, which then spun him out.
Blue flag still being waved here. I think it's Hardest voice coming up to the lap Groenewold.
So going up the inside, there's somebody
him.
else ahead though. Who's that
There's
ahead?
Groenewold's battling Timothy Gomez in the red and
Yes,
yellow
that's
up
it.
ahead, and that's for position. Always tricky to yield at the right spot to not also let someone get caught napping and come through with you.
Yeah, but Martin could use this to his advantage because these two are battling.
Heavily.
Gomez is going to be seriously compromised. Oh, but Martin runs very wide.
Follows.
Yeah,
Hardis
and got
through there.
super sideways. Yeah, I got very excited there, I think. But they're still battling, Gomez and he's not giving up.
Shouldn't be, to be honest. That's a
No, he
flag
shouldn't.
situation.
He shouldn't be fighting this hard. Once the leader makes the move, you are supposed to
Little flash
stay
of
out the
lights
way.
there to let him know he's coming through to lap.
So I'm expecting a post-race stewarding investigation
Here
for
we
this to
go.
pop up.
Yeah, but now Martin is
Through
all over the
now,
back.
but yeah,
Oh, Martin, that's not a place to stick your nose.
that door was always closing.
Yeah. Oh, some flashing from Gomez there.
Not sure why.
Clearly unhappy about the way he got overtaken, but you know,
I think it was overdue.
got to manage your blue flags. Logically, we don't expect you to jump out the way, a la F1, but we certainly, you know, if a
Do
quicker
not
driver's coming
defend.
through, don't defend. Yeah.
If someone's at the apex, make sure to not get in their way at the next corner. Ooh, Martin, slight
there's
contact
some
from the rear of
sliding.
Gomez there. Donovan Marks is also closing up on this battle, so this is going to be a lively battle in the last 10 minutes. So that did cost Hardis quite a bit of time. He went from being around about 28, 29 seconds behind Paul to 30, 32, 33 now, which might open up that gap again for Paul to do a quick splash and dash before the end of the race. So Paul choosing to stay out for yet another lap. You can see his tires are sliding around now.
Groenewald, yeah.
Was that? That was Gidris that had a bit of a tap there on Donovan Marks into turn 1.
Yeah, those two definitely the closest on track at the moment. I'm really getting worried about for Paul Venter now. Our lone Aston Martin. It would be terrible if he got a post-race penalty because he didn't take his didn't take his pit stop. But I mean, it's GT3. You've got to be expecting to do a pit stop, surely.
If I remember correctly, it's listed as a stop and go penalty. So if
It will
it's
be quite large,
applied,
yeah.
if it's applied post-race,
It's
it'll
G30
definitely
at
close up
least.
the gap.
Yeah. So, what is interesting is we were talking about fuel tank capacity a little bit earlier, Sus, and you were saying that you think the Bentley was the only one that could make it to the end of the race on a
Yeah.
full tank. Paul's only got 7 minutes left of this race and still pounding round.
Okay, so clearly I was wrong then, or he has been fuel saving.
Possibly, but for it to make this much of a difference, would he be able to do the lap times that he's doing?
I don't know. That is, I'm not 100. I can't remember what his quali lap time was. 'Cause if he has a good second in the bag, then maybe. But if I remember correctly, you can do a bit of fuel saving and lose only around about 3/10 on your lap time. It's not too bad, but of course you have to offset it with just how much time you're actually going to be gaining.
I was going
in
to
the
say,
pit.
yeah. I mean, if you're doing a 24-hour race, yeah, maybe it's worth it. But for an hour and 15,
Yeah, maybe, but most likely not.
I mean, even in the really long ACC races, do guys run fuel-saving maps?
So interestingly, I think a lot of the endurance races tend to run stint timers of 65 minutes because of this exact reason. The cars are just some cars are so ridiculously fuel efficient that you kind of have to force the field in at the same time. It then becomes like, how do you optimize maximize the amount of laps that you can run within that allotted time? And you might even go, say, like halfway through the race, try and pit to offset yourself so that you can create a little bit of clear air for yourself. It very much depends on a lot of factors in the end.
We've got quite a close battle in the in the mid to back pack here, with sort of Groenewald being the meat in the sandwich here. Although actually I see, was it Pidius? What's his name? The new guy?
Yeah.
Idris, thank you. Also getting in on this action now, with Marks having just made a small mistake there
Marks
and
is
going
sliding all
wide
over
through
the
the small
place.
chicane. Yeah. So all the way up to Gomez, there's definitely some positions to be had here, chaps.
And I see Maurits Kroukamp is all over the back of Roxanne Bartel at the moment.
Roxanne having a pretty good race up in 11th. She'll be fairly chuffed with that at this stage, I would say, particularly beginning of the season.
Paul's no, right. But I saw a flash of something. Don't panic.
Don't panic yet. Marks, is he going to go defensive into turn 1? I can see Groenewald up ahead looking quite racy against Gomez as well. Those two seem to be stuck together this whole race. Oof, getting it wrong through turn 1. And through turn 2, oof, he's run very wide and fallen off the back a little bit. Who hasn't fallen off the back, though, is Groenewald going up the inside. That's a bad move. Oh, that was never going to work out, Martin. That was never going to work out. There was never going to be space there. Luckily, both drivers lived to fight another day. Definitely no McLaren-shaped hole through that corner, I'm afraid. And is that Hatting? Yes, it is Renier up ahead. So actually, from 15th all the way down to 19th is kind of up in the air as we go to 3 minutes left.
Paul
And
dives into the
Fenter,
pits.
oh, finally, thank goodness. Paul, buddy,
Hardis looks like he's around about 35 seconds behind him, so this is gonna be close if Paul is running it.
He currently has some traffic to deal with as well. Andrew
Oh,
Govender
that is
in front
well.
of him, which is going to hold him up.
oh,
so
Groenewold's
slightly.
run wide coming out of that far chicane. But actually hasn't affected too badly, although Marks will be all over the back of him coming into the next chicane. There's definitely a bit of cat and mouse going on here with these guys on
cutting the
worn
chicane.
tires. Very cutting. Oh, that's
Very
going to
much
push him
splash and
wide.
dash for Paul, but I think Hardis has managed to pass him just now.
Yeah, he'll
he's-
be on
he's managed
naked
to get
tyres
past
as
Andrew
well.
Govender as well, so that was vital.
Oof. It looked like Marks was going to have a proper dive on Groenewold, but luckily thought better of it into turn 1.
Another one. Oh,
So Hatting is now got all the pressure from Gomez. He's clearly made a little bit of a mistake. Gomez trying to go down the inside. Hatting just taking a wider line. I don't like that line. It really Groenewold
Yeah.
and Marks.
Was it
Was it
Marks?
Gomez? No, Marks. It was Marks.
Marks.
Making contact. Gomez is now having a go at Hatting.
Oh.
Gomez up the inside. That should be done and dusted, that move. The camber through that corner on the inside is just so much better. So Gomez does get past Hatting. I didn't like the door that he left open a couple of corners before. It's just so tempting. And that's where you're going to see contact. And
I think that's what actually happened with Martin and
yeah, could be. But Martin is now down in 19th. Still some time to go. 1 minute. Actually,
1
not
minute
much time
left.
to go.
Hardis is actually rounding the last corner now. So
Yeah, so
this
we'll get one
will
more
be
lap.
the final lap.
Hardis has driven very well. At the beginning, I seem to remember he was in third.
Yeah.
Certainly for the first little stint of the race, and has just been super consistent. Whereas we've seen Mike LaRue and Hannes making small errors. One of Hannes's small errors, unfortunately, costing him big with that stop-go penalty. So Ross Bartle has fallen back to 5th, it looks like, which is
He's lost out to Sean Bingham and Mike Leather.
strange. I wonder how that's happened all of a sudden. I didn't think he was going to fall quite that far back.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, these guys are all over the back of each other once again. Gomez has Hatting absolutely monstering the rear end of his Ferrari, while Marks proceeds to push Hatting further and further. These guys trying to eke out every last bit of performance they possibly can as the timer ticks down to 0 on this last lap, last gasp. Where can these guys end up? What a fantastic midfield battle this has been. A real feast for the eyes at the end of this race. The first race for the season. Hatting taking a slightly different line through that tight left-hander as we go through what I believe is the Schumacher S. Gomez does seem to have the legs on Hatting. Oh, getting very squirrely. Who's that behind?
Marks.
That's Mark.
He's off, yeah.
Mark just losing out.
Hardis is approaching the chicane now to take a very well-deserved first win of the season.
Absolutely. Fantastic drive from him. Navigates the last corner beautifully. Paul Fenter follows behind.
He's followed by Paul Fenter, who pulled off what I think was a pretty good move there with his pit strategy. Mike Leroux unfortunately losing out quite a bit there. See Timothy Gomez finishing with Renier, actually Donovan Marks behind him, followed by Renier with Gidres ahead of the two of them.
Sean Bingham coming home fourth. I'm sure Sean will be absolutely chuffed with that. Great result. Good to have Sean back as well. Fantastic to have Sean back. And Ross Bartle coming across the line, managing in the wall. Fifth position with Mark Sutton in sixth. I'm sure certainly the first of the McLarens.
But the biggest
Lot of
loser
work to do.
tonight, Hannes van Wyk, had the lead, biffed it in the pits. That was an unfortunate race for him tonight.
Yeah, and Jason Luck coming across the line. Seventh position. Decent result there for Jason in a very, very strong field. Mark van Rensburg in eighth.
People have
Another-
already disconnected, so that's not quite seventh.
Okay, so, no, but I mean, Mark, a little bit of a what could have been tonight. And that looks to be us.
Indeed it is. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining, and also thanks to everyone on YouTube for tuning in live, or if you're watching the VOD replay offline. Thanks very much for the support. This has been round one of the simGT3 series for the final seasons to see us out the end of the year. And catch us next week, Monday, for when we are in the first round of the Volvo S40 BTCCs. Until then...
I was just about to say, Ryan, play us out with that beautiful Volvo, please.
I'll take us out for the last 5 minutes for the series promo vids. Cheers and good night, everyone. Thanks very much.
Cheers all.
Terrific speed. And it's quicker on two wheels. Clellan goes through. They're leaping into the air over the curve. Wonderful stuff. But he holds his line. He's on the inside. He's up to third. He runs wide. Now, is he going to go for it here? Will Hoy has gone ahead of Tim Harvey. No, he hasn't. Harvey holds the place, number 5. And he's not content with third. He's going for second. Through on the inside. And off goes Big Flip and Leslie. Wow. And look. Almost over on two wheels. Now, this is 130 miles an hour that they're building up to here. And Winkelhock has got the advantage. He's got the inside line as they come up to Paddock, the right-hander. He's ahead of him and he's going into the lead. But Vila is attacking. And Winkelhock takes the lead. Magnificent.
Very fast corners, still side by side. Clellan won't yield, Plato won't yield. Medicine says if you want to squabble, I'll just pass the pair of you.
Plato dives through on the inside, moves ahead. Jason Plato up into third position. And behind Reed, it's Watts. Watts going through to fourth position. Reed's running wide. Tim Harvey is up behind them. He's going to go through. He's done it. Will Hoy is there too. Goodness me. Tarquini spins. They're all going off. Look at that. And off. It's Tarquini.
contact, up through the Cupper's corner. Take that, Mansell runs around the inside. Can this boy drive? Out of my way, Clement above the inside of you. He's past Leslie, he's up into third position. This is amazing.
What a race! Titanic scrap for places. Wheeler's going to go through on the inside, right up behind, and out spins Rydell.